else a participant other than you and Mr. Miller on any of them?
Yes, David was.
Anyone else?
I think that's it.
And when David Grossman was a participant, was that on just some of them or on all of them?
On some of them.
And the first call that you had with Mr. Miller that you started to tell us about, had you had any discussion with Mr. Miller about whether he would be representing you as legal counsel?
Objection. I instruct you not to answer. It calls for the substance of your conversation with counsel.
Well, that's what I'm trying to establish, whether there's a basis for your instruction, which I assume is an attorney-client privilege instruction.
It is, and he is represented here today.
But the question is, was he represented at the time that he had this communication?
And that calls for a legal conclusion, and I'm instructing him not to answer.
But I'm asking the foundational question of whether or not he was represented.
That calls for a legal conclusion. He can't answer that question.
Okay. I take it you're going to have that same instruction with respect to this entire topic.
If you're going to be asking him about questions with counsel, yes.
Okay.
And I'd also add relevance.
Well, we both know the relevance. You submitted a declaration in this action, correct?
Yes.
It was previously marked as Exhibit 82 in this matter, so I'm going to hand you a copy, but we won't reattach it to this transcript. We'll just refer back to it. And I'll ask you, this is the exhibits come in. I'll ask you to turn first to Exhibit A, if you would. You see this document that has on the top of it, The Secret Life of Pandas, take number 1, etc.?
Yes.
Did you write this document?
Yes, I believe I did.
And when you say you believe you did, what?
Well, yeah, I think that I did. I mean, it looks like something that I would have written. It's formatted the way I usually do things. Yes, I would say I wrote this.
Okay. And why is it that you didn't have your name on it?
Well, I never put my name on a lot of things there.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to... I'm sorry, 1 second, please. I'm going to ask you to turn to Exhibit C of your declaration.
Exhibit C, yes.
Did you write this document?
No.
Did you cause it to be written by somebody else?
I would guess that this was printed off the internet.
So, do you know whose handwriting it is in the upper right-hand corner that says 9/11/00?
No.
When you say you would guess this is printed off the internet, are you saying that that's in fact what happened, or do you know?
Well, I know that I didn't write it. I would suspect from the formatting that it wasn't done in memo form, so guessing from the fonts, it was probably just something printed off the internet.
Okay.
In fact, it says at the bottom, all information is copyright David Bolton. So this is probably was at the bottom of the internet page.
Okay. Can I ask you to turn now to Exhibit D of your declaration?
Yes.
And do you see that it has handwriting on the top that appears to say compiled 11/3/2000?
Yes.
Do you recognize that handwriting?
No.
It's not your handwriting.
No.
Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
What is it?
It is a list of movies in the martial art genre. Synopses of various films in the genre.
Created by?
I don't know who it was created by, but it was created within the department, either by myself or a researcher.
And how is it that you have determined that based on looking at the document?
From the formatting.
Okay. Can I ask you to kindly turn to Exhibit E of your declaration?
Mm-hmm.
You see where it says Kung Fu Panda, November 27, 2001?
Yes.
Who wrote this document, if you know?
I wrote this document.
And when did you write it?
Well, according to the information printed here, the file was created on Saturday, November 24th.
You're looking at the second page?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, did you personally print out this second page or have anything to do with it?
No.
But you're saying if this page is to be believed, that's when it would have first been created?
Yes, I believe this to be accurate.
Okay. And that's based on?
Well, the file name is how I always name my files.
Mm-hmm.
I always put the title of the show in caps, and I always put the date in which the document is created as a 6-digit number that isn't separated by slashes or dots. So I know that I named the file.
Okay. Is this document the first time you put your Kung Fu Panda idea in writing?
I don't know. It's certainly the first document here.
If there were, well, where did you get it from?
Well, I didn't get it from anywhere.
Let me rephrase it. It's attached to your declaration.
Oh yes, this is a document that I wrote that I assume was in the Dreamworks computer files, which they own because they own all of the work that I'd done while I was there. And when I left, that work remained on their computers. It was their property. I didn't own it. So this was something that existed on their computer server, I assume.
So this document was provided to you for purposes of attaching it to your declaration, as opposed to you providing it to counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Is that true of all the exhibits to your declaration?
Well, I have to look through each exhibit to make sure before I answer that question.
There is that index that you just flipped.
I know, but sometimes I need to see it.
Fair enough.
Exhibit A. This was in Dreamworks files, not in my personal files.
But the question is, did you provide it to counsel, or did counsel provide it to you? Is that what you mean?
I did not provide it to counsel.
Okay.
I don't personally own these documents.
And do you personally have any copies of them?
Just the declaration that I signed.
Okay, so at the time that you signed the declaration, were any of these exhibits provided by you to counsel?
Provided by me to counsel?
Yes.
No.
All
They
of-
were provided by counsel to me because when I read this, it was referring to specific exhibits. In order for me to fully understand when the reference to exhibits in my declaration, I needed to have those exhibits for me to refer to. But they were provided to me by counsel, not provided by counsel. Not provided by me to counsel.
So counsel provided to you the declaration, correct?
Well, a draft, correct?
And did the draft differ from what you ultimately signed?
Yes, I made some changes to it so that it was more accurate.
But it was initially written by counsel rather than you, correct?
Well, I am not a lawyer, so I don't know. I wouldn't know how to write one of these.
So is the answer to my question yes? The document was written by counsel, not by you?
Objection as to written. You asked me if you typed up the document?
I'll re-ask the question. Did you write or dictate the language of your declaration, or did somebody other than you do that?
Did I dictate to them, I, Michael Lachance, declare as follows? Did I speak like this?
Right.
No.
Okay, so is it fair to say that your declaration was written by counsel and given to you?
Objection. Same objection. And to the extent you want to ask the witness if a paragraph is correct or if anything in there is accurate, please do that. But if you're going to ask him about conversations with counsel, I'm going to instruct him not to answer.
Yeah, and that's not a conversation. So,
Or communications.
did you write the words in this declaration?
No, I didn't write all the words in this declaration.
Did you dictate the words in this declaration?
No, I did not dictate them.
Did you compose the words in this declaration?
Same objections.
The contents of this declaration,
I'm not asking a
Let the
general
witness
question.
finish his answer.
the contents of this
I
declaration
thought you were asking me a question. I'm sorry.
I agree to is my declaration. I can attest to the truth of this document, and it is my representation of the reality of this case and my part in it. I did not type this document. I did not actually dictate this document, but it is something that before I read, I made sure that was accurate, and before I signed it, I made sure that it was accurate.
Well, I was going to ask you those questions, so we can skip over them.
Awesome.
And the next question is, which are the paragraphs that you just referred to that you made changes to?
Well, that is a conversation between me and counsel. I don't understand
It's
it,
a communication.
It's not. I'm asking you to point out the paragraphs.
but that is all part of the communication that I had with
Are
counsel.
you refusing to answer?
Yes, he is.
What were the changes that you made to this document?
Same objection. Instruct not to answer.
Can I ask you to turn to Exhibit B? And I apologize if I have asked you to do that before, I just don't recall. Who wrote this document, if you know?
This was Rafe Beck.
And you remember that as you sit here today?
I'm sorry?
You remember that specifically as you sit here today?
Yes.
Did you instruct Mr. Beck to write this document?
Yes.
What instruction have you given him?
All I remember is I told him to come with ideas for a movie about pandas set in China would be ideal. We talked about various different templates. One of which was, doing something set in the arena of martial arts, and he produced this document.
Okay. Now, we had started talking about the attachment to your declaration dated November 27, 2001. That was a story outline entitled Kung Fu Panda. You
Yes.
recall we did. And my question to you is, do you have any recollection as to whether or not you had documented your Kung Fu Panda idea prior to that date?
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't have recollection other than the documents that are here. There could be other documents, but that was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Does this November 27, 2001 story outline embody your Kung Fu Panda idea?
Objection, vague as to time.
It doesn't embody it?
Yes.
Well, it's a version of it. It's an attempt to try to flesh out the concept.
That's okay. Can I ask you to turn to Exhibit G? Oh, I'm sorry, it's of a different declaration, though. You have to give me a second to give it to you. Why don't we do this, if it's okay? Let's just take a 1 minute break, and I'll see what more we have before wrapping up. Off the record.
The time is 4:45 and we're going over.
We had done another stipulation.